So somebody asked me a simple question the other day about my book, The Exodus Within. And he wanted to know what the concept of Egypt as it relates to his very personal life and the things that are going on in his life. So in order to put it in simple sentence or simple context, this is what really the author of the scriptures, the Exodus, the story of Exodus, in addition to tell us that history is informing us spiritual truth. So today is my first day, an example here, to return back into my normal running outside in this park. If you've watched in the last year, some of the videos I've posted is me coming from a run. I usually take a run in this beautiful park. I use it as my meditation site, as also as a moment to run. As you can see how beautiful it looks. But in addition to that, the reason I couldn't run on winter time because it's cold, and actually the park and most of the trail usually are closed. You can come here and walk on your own risk, but usually they are closed for public purposes. And for that being the case, guess what? I was not able to run as I would have, as today I'm going to start with. But taking this narrative that I just shared with you, that I normally like to run rather than on a treadmill. Treadmill is great, but I love to run outside. It gives me a sense of freedom, but not only that it gives me a sense of freedom, it allows me to meditate, to think about. I run on a treadmill, but I don't get the full satisfaction as when I run here, because I get to see different different scenery, and running physically, for me, I'm not saying this is the way to do it, but for me, it gives me ability to kind of build strength in a different way. Because when you look at this course, there's some hills, there's some downhills, there's some area where I can run, which is rough area. Some of them is concrete. So there's different elements that allows me to kind of manage and work different areas of my muscles and also my balance. So for the fact that I couldn't do this on winter time, that means I did not have the opportunity to enjoy that which I would have loved to enjoy running outside. And the fact that I couldn't enjoy that on winter time, it's common. You say, it's winter, Alpha, give me a break. But yes, it is winter, and that winter prevented me from doing that which I wanted to do or experience life to the depth that I wanted to experience. So from the context of the book of Exodus, as well as my book, The Exodus Within, that moment where I was not able to do the run as I would have, and experience the joy of running as it is intended for me, it is said that I am in Egypt. Meaning that I'm in a place and moment in my life where I am not enjoying the fullness of what I would have in an event if it was summertime. Hope that makes sense. So Egypt is an experience. But the winter weather that I credited for denying me that right, that winter weather becomes now what I call Pharaoh. Because as long as winter exists, my portion, the benefit I would have had to run outside as I am going to do today, it is restricted. It is denied of me. Even if I wanted, I would come here and run, the track will be filled with snow. And sometimes it won't be just snow, ice. Running on ice is not that fun. It's easier to fall and break your leg or whatever the case. So it is nearly impossible. It's not impossible per se, but it is nearly impossible to do so. You can be stubborn and do it. So the weather that I encounter, I give, okay, it's because of winter, I could not do my run. Then the weather becomes the Pharaoh. It rules over that ability or the experience I would have had in its absence. And provided that I keep looking for Pharaoh, guess what? I will not be able to enjoy the fullness that I could have in absence of the weather. Hope that makes sense. Because alternatively, you can say, Alpha, so how do you overcome that Pharaoh? If I apply the same technique that I talked about in the book, then I've seen myself several times where if by applying that technique, I would find myself in a different place with different weather that will give me that benefit. I would find myself going to Florida. I would find myself going to Arizona, find myself going to Texas, and many other places around the world that could have afforded me that opportunity. It might not be by being in that place for the entire period of 6 months or 8 months, whatever the period of wintertime in Minnesota might be for that particular year, but I would find myself more occasionally being in a place and space that I will be able to enjoy the benefit or the fullness of running outside. That's what really the writer there is teaching us. How do we find ourselves in a place and position that denies us the right to exercise that which we would have liked to exercise in an event the issue in question was absent? So that being financially. Are you in a financial position today that affords you the ability to enjoy life consistent with your interest? Are you in a position professionally that you can enjoy life and live life consistent with your interest? And if not, then you're in Egypt. And that thing that makes you being deprived of becomes the Pharaoh. And if you take the book and apply the technique that is been outlined as told in the story, you will find yourself on your promised land, no matter what the circumstances is, no matter what the situation is. I hope, as I explained that to the person who asked me, I hope you too, as the reader or a follower of this information, have find more meaning, and now you can start your journey to your promised land. Until then, save this video, like, comment, because definitely you will need it for further enlightenment in order to help you journey in a manner that is meaningful and proper. Otherwise, share, like, and comment. Until then, remember, if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe, follow me so that you can be able to get more information as I continue to share this journey with you.